Hey, family. God, it's been a minute, y'all. Hey, hopefully you guys are sort of getting into the room. It has been a while since we've been able to sort of catch up. You guys can actually thank Laurie, who reached out to me probably like maybe just over an hour ago. I haven't necessarily aligned with doing readings for a minute. I've just been navigating navigating the external. There's been a lot going on, so much to kind of like share with you guys, I guess. So much I'm sure you guys have to share with me. Let the dad jokes begin. I'm sure there'll be a lot of that stuff all up in there as well for tonight. Hopefully once we kind of get into this space, we'll be able to kind of unpack some stuff. I do want to give you guys an opportunity. I'm going to sort of put it out in the chat as well to let you guys know. I'm going to provide the link to the live. So if you guys want to come on and maybe do sort of like, you can do video or you can do just audio as well. That's an option just to kind of speed up the process for when I do ask questions. Hey, CIS06, like that. C is 06. Hey, so yeah, I am going to add the link in the comments for you guys to kind of come in and join as well. Actually join the stream if you want to. It just speeds up the process if I've got questions for us to be able to unpack. I learned a lot during the downtime, to say the least, guys. So I'm going to be putting a lot of the stuff that I've learned into effect for us. I've actually been working on a little bit more of a, I guess, sound community for us to be able to kind of like have these nights and just chop it up on Friday nights. Welcome, BTW, to Free Yourself Fridays. This has been, I guess, on the down for the whole of 2022. So this is actually the first show that we've had to be able to sort of do this. It hasn't aligned, but the stars have actually aligned for us tonight, guys. Today's actually a very good day for manifesting. So much is actually aligning for us. So I have seen it necessary to basically jump back into the space. I guess there's unsettling souls that are out here, and God wants to be able to sort of put me back to duty. So I'm going to make my apologies to y'all because the guide said that I had to apologize to y'all, okay, for like falling short of my duty over here. But the focus was in a bigger picture sort of construct. Like I said, I'm working on a community for us to be able to sort of do this without the disruption of trolls. I don't know if you guys know, but the last live that I did, there was a troll that entered the room. They were relentless, but they showed me a lot. I went into dissension, battled a whole bunch of demons for the last 6 months, y'all. And I'm back. I'm back. Worked through a lot. So I guess God and the guides have seen it necessary for me to sort of come back into a space and relay some messages to you guys. I'm super, super excited to see sort of what's unfolding for us, how everything is kind of moving in you guys as well. We're just going to dive into it and chop it up, guys. I'm going to add the link to the chat. So that's the link if you guys want to sort of come in and hey, chocolate covered rose. It has been a long time. I've been shadowboxing. I've been shadowboxing in these streets, but I'm back. I've been just sort of like working on some stuff and working through some stuff for you guys as well to be able to kind of like make the community a little bit more of a safe environment. So we're going to go in and start taking questions, guys. You can start typing your questions in. You can join the stream if you like, if you feel brave enough, if you want to put the stuff out there and really sort of dive into it, we can do that too. Just to sort of give you guys an opportunity for us to have like the one-to-one sort of dynamic and unpack things a lot quicker than you having to kind of like one finger type when you get the opportunity to, and then the channel can just flow a lot more, I guess, effectively, because then when I have to wait for you guys to kind of like type when I'm asking questions, it's like a pause in the channel. So this should hopefully make things kind of run a lot smoother. But yeah, let's start getting the questions out there into the chat. You get your one free question as per usual. Use it wisely, because there are times if we ask significant question, it can really be unpacked and give like a lot of great clarity. So you guys can start putting your questions either in the chat, or if you're brave enough, like I said, you can jump into the live stream and hey SP and chop it up with us. It's up to you guys. Let's start getting the stuff out in the chat, or let's join the chat and put our questions out there. I'm sure there's probably like so much that's been going on in you guys' world. Come on, guys. It's a Friday night. This is what we do. I know it's been a minute, okay, y'all. Okay. I know I'm like just coming back in here 6 months later, like nothing happened. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, everybody? Why are you acting sleep? But look, we'll just kind of continue how we mean to sort of go on for the night, okay? Start putting your questions out there in the chat, and let's dive into it and unpack it. What has been sort of on your heart? What's been your soul? Hey, NC. How is SC feeling about me? Okay. Let's dive into it. NC. Thank you, NC, for putting it out there. Okay, if any of y'all want to sort of join into the chat and see a little bit more through the actual streaming, then definitely feel free to join there as well. So how is SC feeling about NC? Okay. Okay, at the minute, so what I'm feeling with the situation, it's not that you're not a priority, but there's a lot of other things that they're juggling at the minute. So the way that I'm seeing the situation, right, they see you in the dynamic as someone who is naturally quite warm and nurturing, and they're grateful for that. They actually appreciate that part of your essence. I think the trick for them, I guess, mentally, so mentally there's a little bit of confusion as to how to prioritize things. The best way that I can put this, and it's nothing to do with you per se, it's more so the dynamics of where they're at right now in life. They're struggling to really be able to prioritize this connection, and really be able to show up, I guess, in the way, I want to say in the way that you need them to, or at least in the way that it feels like you would like to see them in the dynamic. They seem to be falling short. They're aware of the fact that they're falling short in certain areas, as far as the connection. It seems like, are they a little bit withdrawn at the minute? Have they kind of like pulled back their energy, or have you sort of pulled back your energy? Answer that question. Get to type in, and let me know. For the most part, I want to, yeah, because this is the thing. I'm kind of like seeing that there's a little bit of a separation dynamic that's kind of like taking place, but I don't feel like, for the most part, I don't feel like, yeah. So the thing is, there's a lot of variables to the situation at the minute, right? So for their guides are very adamant that they need to not be hasty in making decisions. So it's good that you guys are having the conversations. And I'm glad that obviously, you know, sort of coming in and unpacking it, we'll get a little bit more clarity. What I'm seeing is that this is a tricky one. Is there a third party dynamic in the space? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic connection. It could be family, is how I'm kind of like seeing or sensing the dynamic. Because I'm seeing that there's a situation where there's regrets, where somebody may have to be, okay, yeah, there's a situation where somebody is like, oh, this is weighing heavy on them. Oh, you're applying pressure, NC. Okay, so the situation with you is definitely applying pressure to them. Whoa. Let me sit back and like take this in, because there's like a lot going on up there. Okay, so what I'm seeing with the situation, right? They're at a bit of a crossroads where they're having to take oh, I'm trying to like find the words because they're giving me so many aspects to the situation because it seems like this is very complicated. I can tell there's like a lot of entanglement in the situation. So it's not like just a clear cut situation. Like it's very complicated. I can see that it's very intricate. What I'm seeing is that either way, there's a decision that has to be made. Um, where they have to kind of like turn their back on someone. I don't necessarily think that someone will be you, but I do think that it comes with a lot of pressure. It comes with a lot of I'm feeling like real genuine sadness because it just feels like it's something you guys can't manifest like that like full straight line as far as like the life that you guys are trying to sort of like build together like right now is what I want to say. um there is a journey with it that's unfolding, but this dynamic that's taking place right here is going to bring you guys closer together. That's what it's designed to do. It could, if you guys don't have the right ability to communicate, it could steer you guys apart. But the intention here by the universe is to be able to bring you guys closer together, because if you guys are able to come together on the situation, um later on down the line, the kinks that you guys are trying to work out now with that, I don't know, like that third party situation, that starts to level out a little bit. There's a period of conflict, don't get me wrong. Okay, there's a period of conflict, there's a lot of internal tension I see for SC. There's a lot of internal battling that I see for SC with having to make the decision. But they're going to make the decision drawing closer to you. The challenge for you is to not let your tendency to self-sabotage get in the way of this. So this is, I guess, why your guides needed you in the space to unpack this little situation. So you have to be able to work on your ability to, let me find the words. Even if it doesn't sit right with you, like even if you don't agree, you don't have to be as harsh with your disagreement. Okay. You know what I mean by that. They kind of are putting it out there where it seems as though the thing that may cause you to be a little bit okay, so you're also going to be feeling a little bit of guilt from the situation, right? And that is what's going to show up. The symptom of that guilt is going to show up in that behavior. So be mindful of the guilt that you're processing for the dynamic of having SC having to make this decision ultimately, because it was inevitable for SC's growth, essentially. But it seems as though the eruption of this behavior is stemming from the guilt. So if you can work on the guilt, and also having conversations with SC to be able to, if you feel that guilt surfacing, don't suppress it, don't repress it, because it will come up in an eruption and it will show up in other ways in negative behavior. So be mindful of that. But it seems like SC is ready to make that decision. They're ready to make that decision. They're ready to self-isolate with you. And they're ready to sort of start preparing and planning for that future. It's a little bit daunting, very overwhelming right now, like mad anxiety. I can feel it, mad anxiety. But, and however, they feel like this is a breakthrough from a lot of the the confusion and moving away from a lot of the chaos. Like it seems like things have been like there's been a lot of projections thrown you guys' way. I can see there's been a lot of darts thrown you guys' way, and he's had to, they've had to kind of like internalize a lot of those thoughts that have been coming at them. So yeah, bear that in mind as well. Like they're still navigating through a lot of those projections, even though they're making the decision to choose you. They're still navigating through a lot of those seeds that had been planted maliciously. Okay, there's been things that have been said. So I just want to put that out there. Like, be mindful that they're also going through their own healing process with the dynamics and the situation. Like I said, they're finishing it out with, this is designed to bring you closer should you both accept the challenge of working through these lower vibrations of yourselves. Your ability to process guilt is going to be important. Their ability to be able to own the decision that they've made. The project that got assigned to me seems to be very complex and tedious, while I want work-life balance and peaceful life. Okay, I'm gonna get to all of that awesomeness in the chat, but to sort of like close it out and say, what I do want to say is that this is going to be a breakthrough. It's going to be a breakthrough. It's going to take some time, and there's some heartbreak that has to be like nursed. Bear that in mind for both of you guys. You guys are heartbroken in different ways. The decision has consequences. That's what the heartbreak is, okay? Guilt for yourself, for themselves, they're also mirroring that same vibration of guilt, okay? Which is a great opportunity for you guys to be able to process that layer of the density of that together, so that you guys can keep ascending, into that timeline that you guys are trying to manifest for yourselves. You've got to shed some of this old stuff, and it will happen. Just be mindful of that, because they're also feeling guilty for the decision that they have to make as well. Okay, right, that's all of what I have for you, NC. I hope that was useful, however it needed to kind of I guess land for you. I hope that did exactly that for you. We're going to move on to Kayla. Okay, Kayla. Okay, you're already added to the list, Kayla. You're already added to the list. Resonates. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I guess that's kind of like why the guides called me to come into this space again, because I want to be able to as well, like I'm really going to be working on content for you guys as well, to be able to like really talk you guys through processing certain emotional traumas, because the contracts that we hold with like low vibrational entities, it holds us back in a lot of different ways, and I really want to dispel a lot of these things. So don't worry, I got that for y'all. It's coming. I'm working on an app for us guys to be able to like really build a community, to be able to like really work on this stuff. But we'll see how everything unfolds. Yes, SP, you are on the list. I did have a little read at your message, so I'm going to come to you because your guides have definitely got stuff to say to you about that already, because they did draw my eyes to it. So I'm going to stick a pin in it, but I'm coming. We're going to go to Kayla quickly, and then I'll come back to you, SP. What is Elle feeling after a call yesterday? Oh, I'm gonna get some water. They're a little bit salty. I'm gonna say that to start off with. They're a little salty, but I'm gonna dive into it with the cards and unpack this. Okay. Right, guys. So Kayla wants to know, how's Elle feeling after the call yesterday? Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh. Definitely holding on to some stuff. Definitely holding on to some stuff. Yes, Spirit World, you can be put on the list. You'll be after SP, I think. Oh, after Ayushi, actually, you'll be after Ayushi. Um, can somebody please help me out and start building a list, guys, if you don't mind? Because I'm gonna forget this at some point, and this is going to sort of start to go. So anybody that wants to help out, that would be much appreciated. But we are going to dive into Kayla's situation. So what I'm seeing is that there's definitely some blocked emotions about the situation, like there were things that were left unsaid in that conversation, but there was also too much that was said at the same time. So there was things. Oh, how bad did the communication get? Was it like on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm seeing that it was probably like a temperature level, maybe 7. Let me know if that's right, because so what I'm seeing with the situation is that they feel as though they didn't necessarily like everything that was said in the conversation, but it was nice for them to be able to sort of like get some insight. Okay, we're gonna get some full-on clarity with the situation here. Okay, so for the most part, Elle's feeling like they're happy about some of the things that you guys discussed. I think what they're salty about is kind of how difficult or how challenging it's going to be to kind of get to that place. It seems like they feel like they're in control of the situation somewhat, but again, I want to put this, I don't know if this is you that didn't get to say everything that you wanted to say, or they didn't necessarily feel like they shared everything that they wanted to say, but somebody did leave that conversation feeling as though there were still some things that needed to kind of like really be unpacked. I really want to understand how heated the conversation sort of like really got, because I feel like that's why the conversation didn't go necessarily like as smoothly as it could have, because there was an intention there before. But for the most part, they feel like they're happy about the clarity that they've gotten with the situation, but at the same time, they feel like there was still some things that was left unsaid, or maybe, like I said, this might have been yourself that felt like there were some things that was left unsaid with the situation. Oh. I'm seeing tower moment. So it seems as though like the conversation that was had, um, mm, it's definitely bringing about some. I don't want to just say, guys, give me some clarity, please. Give me some clarity. What are these changes? Because you're saying new changes. It's bringing about some new changes. What are these changes? Sorry, I'm checking into the channel, y'all. Okay. 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 Um, just to sort of like check in with you there, Kayla, right? Um, there's that I feel like, so what they're showing to me is that the conversation that was had yesterday is going to sort of trigger um it's going to trigger some changes in terms of the dynamics with certain insecurities. And why I say that the conversation was like a level 7 is because it seemed as though there was just certain things that wasn't necessarily said. Somebody wasn't being like entirely like forthcoming. They weren't being entirely forthcoming. They were kind of being very vague in the conversation dynamic. They were saying things, but not really necessarily clear. It was kind of like this. Like I'm seeing it like they were almost saying things that they thought potentially maybe the other person wanted to hear. Um, but for the most part, I don't think that they necessarily got to vocalize what their real feelings on certain things are in the situation. Um, what's going to be Elle's next move from that conversation? Now that the conversation's been had, give me some clarity, because this, come on, y'all. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Oh, there's still a lot of internalized energy here. So it seems as though L's next moves is going to be, how can I put it? The dynamic is, it's a little bit of wishful thinking. There's a little bit of an imbalance in the work and personal life balance at the minute. So that dynamic is kind of the main focus, I guess. That's the challenge. Okay, they're saying no, that's the challenge. Okay, that's the challenge. The challenge to be able to kind of like find that balance, to actually be able to even make time. I don't think Elle said everything that they wanted to say. I'm picking up that it's their energy. I don't think that they said everything that they wanted to say. I don't know how open the conversation was. I don't know if you had your compassionate ears on, as opposed to the interrogative listening ears on, because sometimes when people have to tell us certain things that we don't want to hear, sometimes we can get a little bit defensive, right? And then we get into the interrogative listener. They didn't get to say everything that they wanted to say. And I think that they're struggling with their dynamic as far as their personal life, and kind of figuring out the work-life balance with that situation, because the commitments are, they feel like it's kind of, I don't want to say depleting their energy, but it's definitely like bleeding them thin. I think that they are making progress as far as the career situation, but as far as being able to kind of like really commit and give you what it is that you might need right now, I don't know that he's there just yet. I think as well, I want to say this, I think he's also comfortable in the dynamic. I don't know if you've kind of like applied pressure before. I don't know if you've kind of set some boundaries in place before. But it seems as though like they are content to know that they can actually still do that. It's wishful thinking, right? Definitely wishful thinking, but they're content to know that they can still kind of like have this, for lack of a better way of putting it, this minimal time. Like you've got like this little gap of time, right? That's like allocated for you. I don't know if they've got like space in their life entirely right now to really be able to commit to your needs. But what I'm seeing is that they're not necessarily willing to walk away either. So they're going to be back. The conversation, there's more to the conversation that needed to be had from what you guys discussed yesterday. There's still a lot of things that wasn't necessarily said that's going to be able to give you guys some clarity on certain things. It does feel like it's moving into a better direction. Yeah, I do see perseverance there. I do see that, you know, you guys will be able to sort of like overcome this dynamic, but it's a very scattered energy. Why is it scattered, guys? Okay, their inability to kind of like commit to decisions that they make. So the struggle that you guys are navigating through is their tendency to be indecisive. So that's kind of what's continuing to cause a lot of this strenuous chaos that it feels like is taking place. It feels like you've probably had similar conversations in different ways a few different times. They're gonna step up, like he's gonna step up, but it's gonna take him some time to get there. It's gonna take him some time. I think he's gonna be battling through his own illusion, because that's essentially what it is, that you know, continuing to kind of like do things the way that it's happening at the minute, that you kind of fall into line. You're not there, you're at a different place, you're like, I'm not necessarily, that doesn't resonate with me all the way type thing. So you guys are going to have a few more conversations to be able to get like full clarity on what the move is forward. But the conversation yesterday was a good starting point for you guys. It did open a can of worms because I can see that there's chaos in there. Just because in his mind, like I said, because of the inability to kind of like commit to decisions, it's made things a little bit foggy, but give it about 3 weeks or so. Okay. The conversation's going to kind of like go through different series of changing and altering and going deeper into it and unpacking over the course of the next 3 weeks or so. So give it about 3 weeks and 4 days, I'm hearing. So you'll be able to get a little bit more clarity on that. I don't think they have full clarity on what their action is just yet, because I think you're asking the question kind of like expecting like a quick turnaround in terms of their act, but it's going to take them some time to kind of like, jump into that expectation that you have there. Okay. Let me scroll and see what's going on. No, I don't think that I don't think that he's going to cut you off per se. I think that he's kind of used to holding that dynamic there, and I think you're kind of like applying a little bit of pressure, I guess, putting a little bit of boundary into the space. We were supposed to meet Monday, that when, and he didn't show. Not sure if he'll come again after what I told him. Yeah, give it some time. I think that there's some nursing that has to. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Ayushi. Just wait a minute, okay? Your time's not yet, Ayushi. I'll let you know when your time's come. Okay, my love? Thank you. All good. Hey Lori. Y'all, thank Lori, okay? Lori is the reason why we're here tonight. I told you guys when I came in, Lori reached out, put it out there, and I was like, okay. Right, let's go and dive into it. I'm gonna see who's on the list, y'all. To answer your question, Kayla, I don't think that it's a complete like no, as far as like being left per se. They are processing some stuff. We know. They are processing some stuff. So give it about 3 weeks or so, and they'll be able to kind of like get to a better place in terms of the heart hospital ward. They're processing some feelings of betrayal and deception and stuff like that. That's how it feels, as far as how they're taking the information that was relayed to them. So yeah, give him some time. Give him some time. It's not a no, it's just a not a right now, because there's still love there, and that part is what makes it tricky to just kind of say I'm walking away. Okay. Hey Alison, I started to go live at 9:45. I did. I did. Okay, Kayla, I hope that was useful for you, my love. That's all they're giving me for you, so I hope that was useful. Thank you, Kayla. Kayla sort of like put the list together. Thank you so much for that, because I was about to go through it. Okay, Ayushi. Now it's your turn, Ayushi. Okay, it's your turn. Let me see. Have you put your question? Okay, is our connection between me and Dushtant is going to over, or am I overthinking? Okay. There's definitely a lot of confusion that's sort of taking place. I know that Mercury retrograde, we're in the Saturn retrograde period as well, y'all. So there's definitely lots and lots up in the air. It is your turn, Ayushi. It's your turn. We're going to dive into your question and unpack it. I'm gonna come to all the questions, guys. All good, Kayla. All good. Thank you. I appreciate you, beautiful. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's unpack Ayushi's question and see. Hi guys, the connection between Ayushi and Dushtan. Talk to me about it. Okay. Oh, okay. This is going good. It's going good to the last card. Okay. Show me guys. Yeah, I wanna, yeah, I do. I wanna shuffle it up. I wanna get all up in there because I can see that this is going to be quite the unpacking. Dushtan and Ayushi, show me like the connection. How's it going at the minute? How's it going? Okay. Okay. All right. So what I'm seeing with the situation as far as the okay, this is nice then. This is nice. For the most part, there are some challenges with the situation. So I can see that you guys do have some values that aren't necessarily all the way aligned. You guys do have some significant differences that is causing some of this divide that you guys are having to do universal math, right? It's causing some divide and creating distance with you guys. What I'm seeing with the situation here. Okay, let me sit with this for a second because I'm hearing like I'm getting so much information come in. Let me sit with it and process. Okay. And ultimately, what will that decision be? Sorry, I'm having a personal conversation with the guides here so that we can get some clarity ultimately. Okay, we get that. So where is it going to lead as far as for Ayushi and Dushtant? Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. So what I'm seeing with the situation is I'm seeing that they're kind of clarify this for me. In what context? There's a lot to the situation, so I want to unpack it so I can properly like give you a full scope to gain some insight and understanding. Clarify. In what way? In what direction, guys? Okay, thank you. Okay. 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 So what I'm seeing with the situation here, right? You guys are going through a bit of a breakthrough, right? You guys are going through a big breakthrough in terms of like a turning point. There's a pivoting point happening in terms of the dynamic that you guys are experiencing here. You guys are kind of like shedding some old pattern and some old behaviors in the process of doing it. What I'm seeing with them as far as like ultimately where they're going to go, I don't think that you're overthinking it. I think that the overthinking is again because spiritual doctor man. I always have to refer to things back to the means of symptoms. So the overthinking is actually a symptom of some of the delays that you guys have experienced as a obstacle to you guys really being able to like fully come together and be able to kind of like be secure in that partnership, be like completely anchored in the partnership. There's issues with trust. Loyalty is a little bit of a concern as well. Those are some of the things that you actually need to work on. Those are actually the things that are projecting these programs of your ability to overthink things. So you need to work on that. You need to process that first and foremost. That's what the guides are saying. Dushyant is there's going to be a little bit of a separation period. There is going to be a bit of a separation period. Is that ultimate? Okay, so there's going to be some downtime where give me the words, guys, because I'm trying to put it into words. You're showing me the vision, but I'm trying to put it into words. Okay, so Dushyant's going to be navigating through a lot of blocked emotions, kind of like disconnecting themselves from the feelings for you, right? To be able to kind of trigger this separation. I do see the separation as being something that's temporary, but it's a long-term temporary. Some temporary that we see, I say long-term temporary because it's going to be anywhere up to, I want to say, up to 3 months where things are going to be like a tug and war before it feels like you guys are out of that tunnel, right? It's going to be like a lot of back and forth, back and forth. There is going to be a down period for a little bit. There's going to be a down period where there's going to be next to no communication at all for a little bit. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a down period for a while where there'll be like no communication to minimal communication, just to really be able to kind of focus on some of the future plans. I think that they're actually distracting themselves by being able to do that. So that's what they use to suppress their feelings. It might also be a tactic that you find yourself using as well to not necessarily have to navigate through the density because it feels heavy on my heart. You kind of constantly looking back, not necessarily knowing what is unfolding with that situation because it's not all the way clear. So I definitely see it weighing heavy on your heart as well with the situation. I'm sorry, SB. I'm sorry, my bad. I was going by the actual list. I'm only just scrolling down on the list now. Scrolling down on the chat, sorry. But I'm definitely coming to you. Don't worry. I'm coming to you next. You're definitely on the list next. But yeah, there's going to be some downtime. Okay, Ayushi? There's going to be some downtime where there'll be minimal to no communication for a little bit. Will we reconcile in future and coming? I don't necessarily. So when you guys do reconcile, because you guys have developed a lot of like bad habits in the relationship dynamic, I see you guys reconciling. And again, some of those behaviors are going to be disrupting what it is that you guys actually want because there's confusion. You guys want it, but you guys are scared to also come together as well. Like I said, trust issues is a major factor. So in the downtime, maybe take some time to work on that for yourself, like I said, so that you can raise your vibration to get to that place where the relationship dynamic that you guys do want, at least there's one vibrational match, and maybe in time Dushyant can actually learn to match that vibration and become like a reflection of the example that you portray. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging. But yeah, there's going to be separation for a little bit. Minimal communication initially, I want to say, over the course of the next few weeks initially. And then after that, I want to say after about 12 to 15 weeks, things start to seem like it's rekindling again. But again, I mentioned about some of the old habits, the old behaviors showing up. Okay. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do with the situation, if we want to go ahead with it, you kind of have to work on your ability to ascend as well, because you're the reason why your guides obviously brought you in here is because you have a tendency to overthink, right? And you have to be mindful of the thoughts that you lend your energy, focus, and time to, because some of those thoughts are also manifesting in the dynamics that you're seeing, and they are manifesting based on your fear of certain things. So you have to be able to learn how to it's not just about rationalizing, but it's really also about processing, like really actually processing, because there's some residual hurt there from, I want to say, at least 3 relationships back. There's some residual hurt from a dynamic like that. I don't know if this is on your end or his end. I want to say that it's on your end. But that's causing some clouding to your third eye. Definitely what I recommend, definitely doing work on the third eye to be able to kind of like bring the vibrations enough, like in your crown chakra, bring the vibrations high enough, but also to be able to get you to a place where the thoughts are slow enough so that you can operate and move the traffic around consciously, rather than everything organizing itself through chaos subconsciously, if that makes sense. That's how I read as well, y'all. Like I have to give you guys like the clarity on the homework as well, because there's things that we can do to optimize the avatar to be able to like really cultivate some of these things that we want. And that's what the guides are here to do. They want to help us to be able to manifest some of these things. Ayushi, you get 1 question. Okay, so tune in next week and we'll dive into it, because I think that you guys' situation is very complicated, and I want to sort of move on to the list. They're telling me I've got to move on through the list, but I hope that was enough for you, because they're saying to me that's all you need to know for now. Anyways, that's all. My guides are very direct, y'all. They're like, that's all you need to know for now. But yeah. Just let it play out, and you'll actually find the answer to that question in itself. Because the fact that you have to, so this is a whole little schooling that they're taking opportunity. The fact that you have to ask the question is exactly some of the things that they're sort of talking about as far as the indecision dynamics that you guys are experiencing. It's like you want it, both of y'all, you want it, but there's some fear around it as well. One's got to clean up the fear a little bit. Do you see what I'm saying? One's got to clean up some of that fear a little bit, clean up some of the shadows, so the light of the relationship can sort of shine in the way that you guys intend for it to manifest. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ayushi. SP, it's your turn. I got you. Thank you for being patient. I'm gonna go back and find your message, or if you can copy paste and resend, that would be nice. Let me see if I can find it in the chat. Let me, because it was a while ago. SP. Okay, SP, you're gonna have to put it back in the chat. It's gone. If you're still here, put it back in. Okay, there we go. Thank you. That's how you get it done. Thank you. What's coming up? The project got assigned to me seems to be very complex and tedious. While I want work-life balance and peaceful life. Okay, let's have a little look. Oh, already I'm telling you. Okay, there's going to be rewards. Okay, they're already speaking, so I don't even need to pull the cards on this too deeply, because I already said to you from when you even put your message out there, your guide started to speak. So what's happening with the dynamic, it is going to kind of like take a lot of okay, so the mundane stuff, like the whole little monotonous sort of like, you know, the same thing, the repetition is going to get draining. That in itself isn't necessarily something that you're going to enjoy. It is going to come with its own benefits. It is going to reap its own benefits, and it's imperative that you're present. I guess, for this, is what they're saying to me. Like, you've got a certain eye. So you're a necessity to the project. What your, I guess, challenge is to figure out how to incorporate you into all of the monotony that's taking place. So what they're showing me, because there's like a lot of stuff that probably has like a lot of repetitive, you do this, you do like that's it's a process, right? The process is what the process is. You kind of need to find a way to be able to make that feel less daunting for yourself, because at the minute you dread that, and it's a part of the process, unfortunately. But if you find a way to be able to kind of like make it fun or make it engaging, like find something that you enjoy doing or something that you can do in the time as well to sort of entertain yourself, because they're saying to me that your dynamic as far as the work situation, like that's not going to change. The time is going to be what the time is going to be because you're locked into it, right? But the challenge for you is finding that time for play even in between the work, because you're at a place where you're so optimized in this environment, you can do this stuff on default. Do you see what I'm saying? So they're saying stick the stuff that you have to do, the mundane, stick that on the default drive, okay? And then use the conscious drive to be able to do the fun and engaging and entertaining stuff that you want to be able to do for yourself. Because the balance that you're looking for isn't necessarily going to be the project getting any less complex, because it's not going to be, right? It's not going to be. But, and however, you can make it more fun for yourself whilst you're in it. And it will pay off the project in itself. It's actually going to be like a significant, it's going to be very beneficial, is what I'm hearing. Like once everything's actually sort of come together with it. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah. The teamwork dynamic and experience is definitely important for what you guys are kind of like navigating through at the minute. But yeah, I think what they're saying to me is that the way to be able to like get the work-life balance is to be able to infuse you into the work dynamic that you're already experiencing. Sometimes you'll give all your energy to work and then it's like you have nothing, or you pour nothing else into self after work is over, or once work is kaput. It's like that's all the energy that you're able to sort of like muster up. Do you know what I mean? Or at least that's been a little bit of a pattern where, because it's so monotonous, it feels like it's draining because it's requiring a lot of the subconscious default settings to kind of like come into play once you actually get into it, right? But will I get compensated? Well, as I still don't know these details. You will be, my love. You will be. That was one of the main things that they continue to express to me. Like, it's going to be beneficial. It's definitely going to be beneficial. So you will reap the rewards for the situation. You will be able to manage it. You'll be able to manage it exceeding the expectations of the client. I think it's just a case of, again, you bring something different to the table. You bring something specific to the table. You have to tap into you to be able to bring that forward. And the compensation in itself is going to reflect that, because they themselves actually get to a place where the compensation isn't just from this one project. There's something where they either refer you or it grows. It grows, basically. They're saying, I can't say too much, but it grows. So it does grow. But you just kind of have to spend some time like doing the SP stuff, getting to really understand what it is that you're bringing to the table and why you've been brought to the table as the most ideal candidate. don't question the compensation aspects of the situation. Like, they're letting me know that's already been done. Like, that has nothing to even do with them. Like God's already written that, basically. Okay, that's already been written. So by you holding strong on the not questioning it, that in itself is going to allow for it to grow the pot. I'm hearing your cup overflow, your cup overflow. So it's going to be beneficial, and it's going to be a start in a shift for you as well, in terms of how you work these dynamics. Figure out what it is that God needed them to have that made it very much a necessity for them to have you in order to do that. And then that's your superpower. That's what actually gets activated during this alignment. So utilize it because it opens doors to other paradigms as well. Okay. Right. So right. Lori, do you know what? Lori actually was the one that allowed for me to come back into the space tonight. So I do want to sort of give Lori a little shout out as well. I'm going to go and see what the list is looking like at the minute. So we've got Spirit World. I hope that was useful for you, by the way, SB. I hope that was beneficial. That's all good. It's all good, SB. Thank you for stopping into the space. God has plans for you. Trust me. There's some stuff. Right. I think it was Spirit World. Spirit World, if you're still sort of like in the chat, like, give us your question again. Give us your question again, and then we'll kind of dive into unpacking it, because I'm trying to sort of find it in the chat, but there's so much that's happened since then. All good, SP. Right. Archangel Shamuel, can I get some assistance, please? I'm looking for Spirit World's question. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's not the question. Where's the question? Where are you, Spirit World? Okay. Hopefully, they're still here and we can ask the question. Okay, thank you, Spirit World. Thank you. Because Archangel Shamuel was trying, but it was becoming a challenging job. My third eye is more open than my physical eyes at the minute, so it's a little bit of a challenge to even actually like see physically. Okay. So what we'll do, definitely, Kayla. I'm figuring out the semantics, so I'll figure out how to do that. Tech isn't my stuff. I'm more into spiritual tech than I am into the physical tech. So I'm gonna come back to that another time. Once I figure out how to do that, that will be a thing. Okay. But yes. Oh, Sean. That's one of my guardian angels named Sean, actually. Funny enough. The Spirit World. I love that. Thank you. I got it. Show us, what can you see for Spirit World and Sean? What's in the cards for their romance? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's nice. I'm mixing it up, Spirit World. Bear with me. I'm anchoring the channel. Okay. What do you say for the union? Okay. Oh, there's a lot. Okay. Whew, 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 whew. This is heavy. I'm just gonna put it out there. Okay. How long have you guys been together? Because I'm seeing that it's been a minute for a minute. Okay. Yeah, Kayla, I'm trying to figure it out. Once I figure it out, I got you. Hi, I speak my truth. Nice to have you here. We're gonna dive into spirit world. So what I'm seeing with your, I'm good. We're good. We're good. Lovely to have you in the sort of gang tonight. There's a lot of stuff to unpack tonight. So what I'm seeing with the dynamic here, spirit world, um, you guys have been, yeah, you guys have been coming from quite a place. It brings me to like just even observing it, it brings me to a place where I can see that there's been like a lot of it seems like there's definitely been a lot of I don't want to say backstabbing. I don't necessarily think that it's from you guys per se towards each other necessarily, but I do get the sense that that's something that has been like a real struggle in terms of the dynamic, because I'm just seeing like daggers and daggers and daggers. There's people don't really necessarily have nice things to say all the time about the dynamic or about the relationship. Yes, I speak my truth. Join the list. Lovely Kayla will add you to the list. Um, yeah, guys. So what I'm seeing here, Spirit World, hmm, there's a lot to the situation. It's not just as simple as you guys being able to come together and get married. I can see that there's a lot. Yeah, they known each other 5 years. Yeah, there's a lot of okay. It's on the cards. It's predestined. And I want to say that it's predestined because somebody's already made that decision. Um, you may have been the one clearly that's already made the decision, right? So you've already created that path. You've already created a timeline for that as a high probability. It Marriage is potentially on the cards around about year 7. That's it. Like they're just giving it to me straightforward, clear cut. Marriage is potentially on the cards 7 years in. It does mean that you guys are gonna go through a period um, for the next, I want to say for the rest of this year, where you're questioning whether or not that's a decision, but a shift happens at the end of this year where there's no confusion about it. There's no confusion about it. Um, yeah, yeah. But like I said before, at the minute, there's definitely like some tension around some of the naysayers. I don't know what kind of support you guys have as far as the relationship. I don't know how supportive you guys' families are with the relationship, friends, with the relationship. But what I'm seeing with the dynamic is that um, some of the tension that you guys, are navigating through as far as the indecision that you guys have may potentially also have to do with peer pressure. It may potentially have to do with, like when, right? And we're all guilty of this, right? When there's like a situation and they done pissed you off and make you feel all sorts of way and all up in your feelings and stuff, and then you go and you kind of like vent and you speak to this person about like how you feel in that moment, right? But then you kind of you know, you get past the hump in the road, you get back to a good place. You didn't update the other person that, by the way, like this is now like where we're at with the situation, right? And they're still at that other place. All of the negative stuff that you had to say when you were in your feels, right? When they sort of like triggered you type thing, right? With that type of dynamic, what happens is that the people that you like offset that to, right? The people that you offloaded to, they then take that on now. So now they're taking on those feelings, they're carrying those internalized projections, and they're not even sometimes necessarily aware that they're doing it. You may have moved on from certain things now, obviously, like when you're in it, it's different because you get to experience the love, right? But when you're a spectator outside of it, you feel all the obstacles of people talking will be gone then. I think that it won't matter then. That's what I'll say to you. I think that it won't matter then. I think right now it still plays a part in causing a divide for you guys. I think now it still plays a part in kind of like affecting you guys' ability to come together. And that's what they want. Listen, haters are going to hate. Misery loves company. Okay. I think what's happening with the situation is that this is kind of giving you guys an opportunity to like come together and realize that you guys are choosing each other in spite of, despite everything. Do you see what I'm saying? And those types of like that act of commitment, or that act of commitment, because there's a lot of backstabbing, and I'm literally like, I'm even feeling the energy of like the darts that are thrown and like the two-faced people and the stuff that they say. Like I'm feeling the energies like really intense. So I do get that there's a lot, like I said, of projections that you guys are navigating through, and it is obviously piercing the walls of your little love bubble. But they'll get to a point where your love bubble is so impenetrable that their shit won't even matter. Okay, it's like, okay, that's you problem. I join the queue. Okay, which is good. There's just people who need to be out of the picture because they are negative. That part. Okay. And it has nothing to do with you guys per se. They're just negative because they're negative. Like I said, misery loves company. They have contracts with like miserable spirits type thing. So it has nothing to do with y'all and them just continuing to exert the same behavior to feed whatever low vibrational sort of spirits they're in contracts with. It's just what it is. So you guys get to a place, I want to say, like I said, by the end of this year, it's pivotal. It's a little bit of a turning point for you guys over the course of the next 15 months following on from there. But you guys get married in the 7 year. Doesn't necessarily mean like literally once you kind of like hit the 7 year mark. It may be sort of like in between the mid sort of portion of the 7 years. They're just saying like 7 years in, you guys get it. You guys actually manifest it. It grounds. And that's it. So they showed you this is predestined marriage. Yes. They just they gave they were like yeah 7 years because there's been a decision that's been made. I think that you guys have actually both chosen each other. It's just that you guys have been navigating through indecision because yeah, it's a growing process. Just because you choose to be with someone doesn't necessarily mean that they're automatically going to be able to meet all of your expectations and stuff. And you guys have been learning each other, and there's been a lot of stuff that's come up and shown up in the process. But yeah, because of that, you guys are predestined to sort of like have your breakthrough, and your victorious moment is ahead of you around about the 7th year of the marriage, because you guys are already sort of like spiritually connected, but the physical manifestation of the marriage will take place 7 years in. Okay. There's a lot of backstabbing there that you guys definitely need to heal the relationship from. In order for you guys to do that, this is the final thing that they're giving me for you, by the way, spirit world. In order for you guys to be able to do that, It requires you guys being able to really balance both of your ability to kind of hear each other. So sometimes a person, like the other person's kind of like letting the other party know, this is a situation that I'm navigating through, but because the situation may it may kind of it may trigger something for the other person, right? As the other person's kind of sharing, like, this is what I'm going through, da, 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 da. The other person gets triggered, and then all of a sudden there's no conversation, like nothing is moving forward from there, and then a lot of those conversations are being stagnated. So this is how those forces are impacting you guys' relationship and you guys' inability to be able to move forward. What you guys need to learn how to do is to learn how to go back and have some of those conversations after the facts, after the heated moment has ended, after the pressure cooker has been turned all the way up, okay? All the way up. When it gets back down to a nice little steam and boil, have a lot of conversations then, okay? Because that's when you guys will actually be able to work through some of these things, okay? that part. No, I get you. I got you the first time, Spirit World. It's definitely going to come together, but there's a lot to the dynamic, and there's a lot to the situation. There's a lot to the situation. So give it time to ripe, is what I'm hearing. The fruit is already, manifested itself because the connection has already been formed. Give it time to ripe. Okay. Dang, the list is building. I'm supposed to be gone soon. Yeah, I can see that you guys have a lot of backstabbing around you guys. So, yeah, it's one of those things. We're going to move down the list because they're showing me that, that's it for you at the minute. I think that there's going to be some situations that you guys have to really talk about. There's been a lot of heartbreaks that you guys have also avoided as well. You guys haven't necessarily really been able to like dive into some of the things that not just other people outside have done to you guys, but maybe what you guys have done to each other under the influence of others. So that's something that I would say to you. Having some of those conversations to maybe rehash some of the things, maybe doing like, listen, we get a new moon and full moon every couple of weeks. Have a check-in every couple of weeks where you guys book a date, where you guys sit at the table. How are you feeling? Is there anything that is on your heart for me? Are you carrying any contention for me? Is there anything I need to know? Are your demons coming for me when I'm not looking? Okay. Have those types of conversations, and really just put some stuff on the table, because I think that that's going to speed up the timeline as far as you guys being able to, like I said, get your love bubble to the point where it's impenetrable. Okay. But that's everything for you. I hope that that was useful, because there was a lot in there. They had me going all over the place, but yeah, that's good. I hope that that was good. Okay. Yes, Kayla, thank you. Keep them in line, boo. I appreciate you. Yes, please. We will be closing. Rose, you are the final one for the list. Okay? You're the final one. Otherwise, I'm going to be out here till tomorrow, y'all. It's like 11. I'm supposed to be sort of wrapping up soon. So we will go with the next one. Bicycle Summer. Interesting name. Get your question ready. All good, Rose. Thank you for stopping into the space. You literally got to class just in time. So I'm glad you guys brought you in just in time. Bicycle Summer. Let's see. If you're still in the room, can you sort of pop it into the chat what you would like us to unpack for you, and let's get the guides on the job and see what we can do tonight. I'm going to retire these for a little bit. Okay. I could try and scroll through the list, but Archangel Shamuel is, yeah, he's drunken. He's drunken. I'm struggling to be able to think. The third eye is it's affecting my ability to function with my physical eyes at the minute because the projection. So I can't even explain like the whole clairvoyancy thing to you guys. It's like literally like you can see the internal projection like in your mind's eye, but it's like the stuff that you see like when they do these whole movies where you've got stuff that they're moving around and stuff like that. But you guys see it all the time. Snap. You guys probably meditate and sit with yourselves. So I can't really see on the list. All good. Thank you, Spirit World. Thank you for allowing me to tune into your space tonight. There was a lot in there. I appreciate you. Bicycle Summer. Bicycle Summer's up next. Bicycle Summer's up next. Okay. Can you pop your question into the chat, Bicycle Summer? I don't know if you're still in the room with us. I don't know that I'm going to be able to find your question, man. Like I said, Archangel Shamuel. All right, Bicycle Summer. We're going to sort of do final calls for you in a second. I'm going to give you a minute or so, a couple of minutes to kind of get your question back into the chat. Look, Kayla was doing an awesome job. She already put it out there. Have your question ready a while ago. You know, that's what's up. Right. Let me get myself ready for Bicycle Summer's insight. If we're not, if we are not able to get that question together, we may just have to move on. Bicycle Summer. And this may just have to be a lesson on patience, unfortunately, for both of us. That part. Because you may be here trying to like one finger type the whole thing. But yeah. Yes, Rupali, have your question ready just in case because yeah, Bicycle Summer has literally like I guess 30 seconds or so. Oh, you speak your I was about to say you speak your truth. No, you're on the list. I speak my truth. She's definitely added you. We've got Rupali, and then we've got Laurie to sort of go. Okay, Bicycle Summer, final call for you. Final call. We're doing like 15 seconds, man, because the guys are saying that they're going to close out and move on to the next channel. Rupali, throw your question out there, man. If you're still in the room, throw your question out there. And we'll sort of start to unpack your stuff. Unfortunately, don't know where Bicycle Summer is. I don't even know where Bicycle Summer's question is. I didn't even find it in the chat. Yo, it's yeah. There's a lot going here. Okay. Yeah. Everybody, it's your go. Look how you've been blessed. You got to jump the queue. Okay. Look at God working for you. If you're there, put your question there into that. I'm sorry if you type slow. Okay. You've got a good 2 minutes. Get your question back into the chat because the list has grown. I don't know how the connection's going for you guys, to be fair, because I'm like sometimes on the screen, but not. So apologies. Forgive me. Right. We're Polly. Are you going to miss your turn as well? No? Come on now. You got until 11:06. There you go. You get like one little spare minute. If you're actually here, just type I'm here for now so we can all decide to wait on you and hang on if need be. Exactly. Thank you, Kayla. You see the motion of what's going on in this ocean. We may be moving on to the next as well. Okay, Trippy Love. Good to know that you're here. Good to know that you're still in the room. We're gonna get around to you. I think we may be moving on to Lori. Thank you so much, Kayla. You're air, so I appreciate you. God, you're a lifesaver tonight. My dyslexia would have killed it. I would have been like, oh my God, what? Pressure. Sorry, y'all. Okay, see, that's how you do it, Lori. Okay, that's how you do it. Oh, pregnancy. Okay, so this can be tricky. I want to get across. No, you did. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lori. And thank Lori for tonight's session, guys. And Lori, she really she really helped to put some stuff out there. Okay. We want to know about hey, pregnant. We want to speak what she means. Okay, thank you. Okay. Sorry, I'm so I'm like over here having a whole conversation to myself. Sorry, y'all. My ears are burning. The guides are here. They're just giving me the download. Let me just receive and process so that I can relay back to y'all. Okay. 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 What does that mean ultimately? So this is a little bit of a tricky situation with what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that I don't see a child being born per se, because I don't think that I don't think anything's going to come to full term, I guess. Sorry, I'm seeing like so many different factors to the situation here. With this dynamic, right? I don't see a child being born. But I do see, I'm trying to find the words because they're like, I'm not supposed to know on the other side all of how that situation unfolds, right? I guess that's the whole point of the unfolding. That's what they're sort of like across. But what they're saying is that there won't be a child at the end of this, but there may be an inception of a child. I hope that that makes sense. So there's the inception of a child. I don't know that that gets brought to full term, is what I'm hearing. And my ears are burning off with this particular one right here. Like, God. They're literally properly tuning. What I'm seeing with the situation is that there's definitely there's some plans that's going to be put on pause temporarily. I want to say temporarily. I want to say that it's more of a scare. It's more of a scare. Yeah, it's more of a scare. I think that there's an inception, but I don't think that I don't think it's manifested to full term, if I'm honest. And pregnancies are always like a little bit of a tricky one, because yeah, it's very complicated. But baby souls have a tendency of liking to speak to me, to be fair. But the what I'm hearing with that dynamic is there's an inception. I don't know that it's brought to full term. And that's pretty much all that they're giving me with the situation, because your question was a very direct question. So you get a very direct answer. I don't know how useful that's going to be for you. But yeah, that's what they're saying. There's an inception, but potentially maybe not necessarily brought to full term. So keep me posted on that. Keep me posted. You've got my number. Holla at me. And yeah, if there's any personal support that you need, feel free to reach out as well. Yeah, that's what I'd say. They're not giving me anything else with the situation. They're just showing me that there's that situation in itself breeds a lot of contention, and some conflict as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tune in with me on a personal one-away. That's if you need to at any point, that's all they're saying for me to end it there. Tune in with me if you need to at any point along the journey, because it's something that has to unfold. Yeah, that's it. I'm sorry I didn't have more for you with the situation there, Laurie. Yeah. And again, just because I can't see beyond inception doesn't mean that no, I'm getting confirmation. There isn't a full term type situation, but there may be an inception, okay, or conception, I should say. If that makes a little bit more sense, maybe I should use that word, because they're showing me an inception. Biology, basically, they're showing me science taking place. So yeah, I hope that was useful. I know it's like vague-ish, but that's all that we're permitted to know on this side of it at this point of it, which is why they probably said to if you need to speak at any point, just reach out. Okay, because you may need to, is what I'm hearing. So yeah, reach out. Okay, I hope that that was useful for you. I have to go on to Alison. Yes, Alison, you are next. Okay, we love that. We love that. Let's get your question, Alison. Let's get your question. I hope that that was useful for you there, Lori. Yeah, keep me posted. Alison's going to put her question back in the chat, and then we're going to go all the way through. We've got a few left for the night. Hopefully you guys are all still in the room as well, and we can close out the space. Okay. Let's have a look for Alison. Alison and Justin. What do you see? Kids? Yay or nay? What is the determination, guys? Okay. Alison and Justin. Do they have future babies out there? Some spirit babies being anchored in at the minute. What's the sitch? Come on, guys. Show me. Okay. Speak louder, why don't you? Dang. Sorry, we have a funny relationship. Don't judge us, guys. Me and the guides have a funny relationship going. All right. Awesome. Okay. Oh. Bear with me. I'm receiving it. I'm reading the scene. Okay. I'm coming to you, Alison. I'm just receiving it, processing it, interpreting. Awesomeness. There's a lot. Okay. 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 What does that mean, though? Sorry, I'm like getting some fun. What does that mean ultimately? Oh, let me use these. Okay. Okay. What is okay? Thank you. Okay. Oh, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. The connection is strong. There are some spirit babies that they're waiting for y'all. And however, there's a few things with this situation. This is why I was like really receiving it and processing it and calibrating it in my mind's eye before I can like share, right? What I'm seeing with the dynamics with the situation, there are some struggles with um okay. Commitment is a bit of a challenge, like committing to the decision is a little bit of a challenge. Why? Because how can I put it? There isn't really necessarily like a steady balance all the time, in terms of the romance, in terms of the like nurturing, in terms of the attentive lover, in terms of the um, the compassionate lover, the intuitive lover that knows how to provide whatever it is that you need at all times, type thing. Basically caused a lot of the delays in being able to get to that place, with the dynamics and the situation. There's a lot of conflict as well around. I don't know. Does Justin have kids? Do either of you guys already have kids? Because I'm seeing some element of like combative energy, like some competitive force in the dynamic as well, that's causing somewhat energy with the situation. So, do either of you guys already have kids? This is for Alison. If you can answer that one and kind of let me know, just so that I can understand fully where they're kind of like taking me with this dynamic and situation. Okay. Okay. What I'm seeing with the dynamic with the situation for both of you guys is that it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for that situation to manifest itself. Seeing here, there's still some pieces of yourselves that you guys are still sort of like getting to know as well, right? So, with the dynamic, it's not to say that guys aren't necessarily being authentic. It is a hell yes that we will have future kids. Is it a hell yes that we will have future kids? I mean, it's a hell yes. It's a hell yes. It's a hell yes, just because okay, I'm not going to say just because they're saying okay, remove that. So yes, on the contingency, they're saying that both you guys are able to come together authentically. At the minute, sometimes you guys are both kind of, I wouldn't say not being authentic selves, but it's like you guys are still trying to you're not as honest about how you feel about certain things. So maybe sometimes you might internalize the kids that you guys are basically going to be bringing, and I say kids because there's at least two or three, I guess. The kids that you guys are going to be bringing, they require a certain dynamic as far as their purpose and what they're here to do as well. So they actually require you guys to be at a certain place vibrationally in terms of your relationship dynamic, as well as far as how they're going to mirror their household externally, because God's going to use them as well in different ways, for whatever purpose He's going to use them for. You guys at the minute are working at learning how to accept each other as you are. Okay, that's what they meant about authenticity. Okay. It's a case of you guys how to accept each other as you are, because you say, you guys kind of want this future together and you kind of want to build like the foundation to build this family and everything like that, but there's still reservations about certain quirks and differences that you guys might have, where it may feel like it kind of irks you a little bit, or maybe kind of like jars you or irritate your spirit a little bit, vice versa as well, certain qualities. So you guys are working at your tendency to be irritable in situations over the smaller things so that the bigger picture can actually materialize, is what they're saying to me. So that's how they're putting it to me. Okay. But yeah, I hope that that was useful for you. There's definitely some work as you guys are kind of like doing this work to be able to kind of like be comfortable. And when I say be comfortable, it's not to say that you guys aren't comfortable now. It's just you guys are growing. You have to understand there's layers to these things. There's parts of yourself that you probably don't share that you're still in the process of growing into sharing. Do you see what I'm saying? And being comfortable with that. And as you continue to expand in like allowing for each other to see all of these other facets of yourself, the love continues to grow. That's what the children have. That's what they have ties with. That's what they're connected to. That's what they're anchored to. That's why they've chosen you guys for those factors for the situation. Are you guys, what's the dynamics? Are you guys married? I have to ask the question, and bear with me, you'll see where I'm going with this as well. Are you guys married? I'm assuming not, but I have to ask the question. Because I'm feeling as well like there's, like I said, there's a lot of things that are unsaid. Some things that you guys probably don't share. You get one question. You guys actually have 3 kids. There's some boys in there. I'll leave it at that. I'll give you that little mix in there. There's girls and boys in there. There's 2 or 3. That's there, and you guys are kind of like deciding on the 4th, I guess, way down the line in the future. But yeah, there's yeah, you guys will be able to kind of manifest it. It's just there's still things that you guys are still working on within yourselves as well. The only thing that's currently delaying it, I don't want to call it blocking because it's not, it's just a force on like the way that we've had our thought process, our emotional patterns, they've manifested what received, but it's not really, it's just like a challenge or an obstacle we create for ourselves. Where what you're navigating through is the delays at the minute is just an opportunity to allow for you guys to grow, like the vulnerability that you guys express with each other as you guys navigate through this process does this for you guys. You guys like literally grow into becoming one, and a lot of what was previous resistance becomes it no longer exists. It no longer exists. They're showing me like the cord is cut from those things. So it will happen for you guys. It's just, it's a journey. It's a journey ahead yet for you guys. That's how I'll put it. That's how they're giving it to me. Okay. Thank you for that. I hope that that was useful for you, Alison. Let go of some of the questioning. That's also going to like, because what happens when we question as women as well, because we have to understand our body, our reproductive system, it's naturally designed to reproduce, right? And what happens when we kind of have the tension of questioning a lot of the times, this is what it does to our tubes, our fallopian tubes. They tighten and tighten and tighten, and they contract with all the tension that we kind of put with those thoughts. Listen, it's amazing what thoughts can do to the body, but it really does. And it creates a lot of and that causes a lot of the distortion. So a lot of the times it actually causes confusion for the semen. The semen then isn't able to kind of like perform as effectively as it needs to as well. So work on getting your mind into a place where you're sure of this is what the situation is. This is what we're manifesting. How do we get from this timeline to over here on this timeline? Where do we need to quantum leap? What physics needs to take place? So there's physical changes that basically for you guys to get onto that timeline, figure out what it's going to take from you guys for you guys to get from point A to point B. But it's a given, it's a surety. There's just some things that you guys have to work on first, and those things are very important for the kids. Okay. Right. I hope that was useful. Hopefully you were able to keep up as well, because there was some stuff in there. There was a whole bunch in there, so hopefully you were able to keep up. Right, guys. I am diving deeper into it than I anticipated. What have we got? Trippy Love. Trippy Love. Yes, please have your question ready, because we're going to go and dive into it. We're going to really unpack it, see what we can find in there for you. And then see you guys. And then we've got 4 more ladies to go. And then that's it. What type of energy do I hold, including heart space? When it comes to me, we are friends. That being in no communication, what type of energy do I hold? Clarify the question for me, Trippy. My dyslexic mind isn't computing. Sorry. This is what happens when you go into like bunches of channels. Like sometimes my mind isn't able to like comprehend and compute. What type of energy do I hold in C, heart space? Okay, C's the friend, right? So C's the friend when it comes to you. So what type of energy do I hold in? What's in C's heart space energy? Thank you, Trippy Love. Okay, because my dyslexic mind was like putting words in there and compute. I was like, no. Thank you, anyways. Let's go and see. You guys get to like properly like see me in my element. So what's the friends what's in the friend's heart space? Like genuinely, we don't want what's on the surface. We don't want the perceived identity that they would give in the friendship dynamic based on personal old patterns. What we want is ultimately like, we want to see what God sees. We want to understand what God knows about that individual, as to why still no communication, and also as to why that's necessary for the now. We don't just want that information though, we also want to have something of the information of what's there based on the friendship overall as well. Okay, thank y'all. Relay and convey. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Mm. Okay. Oh, sorry, the list is actually closed, love. Tune in next week. We're going to be live. This is closed. I'm going to be here all night. I had to close this earlier, but thank you for stopping in. Tune in next week. I think I'm going to be here. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. I am going to be here next week, okay? But after that, it's probably going to be put on pause for a minute as well. I've got surgery, so I don't know what dynamic I'm going to be in as far as like health wise. But next week, Friday, I'll be here, Taylor, so you can tune in. Okay. Right. So Trippy Love, I'm just reading your message. Oh, that's too funny. Let me go back. Let me go back. Okay. Um, what's in C's heart space towards Trippy Love? Okay. They're definitely still grieving the relationship. Not necessarily all the way on surface. There's a lot of internalized stuff that they don't necessarily share. Um, So I want to put this. I want to put this across, right? There's certain things that they haven't let go of yet. I don't know if this is you or them, but no, it's saying that it's them. Okay, okay. Because we're checking in into C's heart space. So there's things that they haven't necessarily been able to move on from yet. They're definitely reevaluating certain things and they're thinking about certain decisions that they made and why they probably made those decisions. For the most part, they're also sort of like seeing that a lot of the decisions that they made, they were imbalanced as well. I don't know what the dynamic was like with you guys, but what I'm seeing is that I'm not going to say it wasn't an equal situation of like give and take, but there was definitely one who was more of a giver and one who was more of a taker. From what I can see with that dynamic, I don't know what role you played in that like script, but as far as how like their hearts telling that story, these are some of the things that they're struggling to move on from as far as the baggage that they're still carrying from that dynamic within the relationship space. Who broke up with who? Because this feels like a friendship breakup. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, this is the thing. Exactly why I cut him off. Yeah, yeah. See, I don't necessarily, it's not that he cares. It's not okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Let me find my words. Because you guys are just coming at me hot and heavy. It's not that he cares, and it's not that he doesn't care. I think that he cares right now because he sees the consequences of it. I don't think that he cares because the care is genuine, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I think that the caring is basically, I care about, oh, what they said, like that's so hurtful to me. Oh, how could they think that of me? Not, oh, my actions may have given them that impression. Why would they think that of me? Let me learn more about myself. They're rejecting that. So whatever exchange you kind of had to be able to make them aware of this dynamic, they didn't necessarily receive it in the way that you'd hoped, but they are regretful in the in the case of losing you, because that wasn't an investment that they were prepared to lose. They were more of a liability for you, naturally, because you were obviously going to be a profitable investment for them if you're the giver and you're constantly pouring into them. They were receiving so much from you in that dynamic. Kudos to you for like clipping that off. Okay. Because even now, I don't think he actually cares. I really don't, if I'm honest. I don't think he cares as in like how little he showed up for you. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's more ego. He just wants to think that he's a nice person than anything else. Actually, being a nice person, I think he doesn't want people to think that he's a horrible person. He doesn't want you to think that he's a horrible person. I don't think that he's paying too much. I'm gonna say he's not paying too much mind to it, but he's trying his best not to pay too much mind to the situation. Yeah, I did notice that as well. I was like, what's up with that? But yeah, so what I was saying, hopefully we've got the channel anchored, but what I was saying is that I don't know that he actually cares genuinely for actually like caring. I think it's more so a case of like his ego feeling some type of way about you finally kind of like seeing the true colors, if you will. And it's not to say that you didn't see it before, but there was always like rationalizing the behavior or making justifications for certain actions and stuff. Because there was like a genuine like and care there, you know, on your part at least. So yeah, there's regrets there, but I don't think it's the regrets that you would be hoping for, as far as like them regretting how they treated you. That I don't think that they really do, if I'm honest. I think that they regret the consequences of how they treated you more so than actually regretting how they treated you. I think that from what I can see in the space, you know, the fall from grace, that they experience, like what's bothering them more so is the fact that you have this perception of them that they're a taker, because that's what they are. They're not actually bothered about like changing the dynamic of being a taker. I don't think they know how, to be honest. I don't think that they know how. It's just natural for them to be like, some people are just naturally designed to compute as a leech, and like just draw people's energy and to be a little bit of an energy vampire. But yeah, I just think that he struggles with codependency issues, unfortunately, himself. So that's just what it actually comes down to with the situation, which is why he continued to be a taker. But yeah, does he care? He cares about how you see him. He cares about how other people see him. He cares about the consequences of having lost the friendship. Does he care about how he made you feel? Not so much. Facts. Okay. That's all I've got for you, but yeah, I hope that that was useful. Yeah, it's just the reality of the situation, I guess, because some people are very good at masking. Yeah, some people are very good at masking like this pretense, like, oh, I care. No, I care that you don't see my true self. I care that you don't really see what's going on. So that's really what that is. So yeah, that's it. You made the best decision for yourself. Like, I'm seeing the guys, they're championing you, so they support, agree with that decision. Keep that same energy. Um, okay. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I speak my truth. See, that's how you do it, y'all. Okay? I speak my truth. We trying to get me to bed. Okay? It's late. Oh, okay. We've only got a few more left. We've got Cheryl, Jenny, the prettiest girl, and Rose. So we've got about 4 more left after this as well. They are. No, they are. They are. Okay. Like, for real, for real. Like that was just going to continue to like consume your light. You don't need it. Didn't need it then, don't need it now. And they're still the same. Like, ick. And I'm not saying that to be rude, because I understand that we're all like growing and healing. Like, being human is hard, because then the soul has to go through all of these limitations. But genuinely, like, some people really don't actually care about working, and that's what the ick is about. Like, he doesn't give the impression in his heart that he wants to shift the dynamics of the vibration of his heart. He's more so worried about the bravado and the ego more so than anything else. So this is what it is. Anywho, let's go back to who we got right now. I speak my truth. Okay, the question is, okay, hold on. I'm parched. Let me get myself together. Okay. What do I need to know? Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Listen, that gives spirit enough room to read you. Okay, that's a good question. Hey, Kaylee. Thanks for stopping into the room. The list is actually closed tonight, but tune in next Friday, 9:30, maybe 9:45. You know, you never know. God gives us a grace window of 15 minutes, just like the GPs, the OBGYN. Okay, so let's go ahead and dissect that for my truth. What do you see that I think my truth needs to know about the connection with one? Oh, okay. Okay. Mm. Just I was about to start cooking with technology tonight. So what I saw in like just like the briefings of the situation is there is emotional manipulation. And I just again, because the question was so broad, I just give you what you need to know. Emotional manipulation is one of the things at the minute that is causing a bit of a power struggle for you guys. Yeah, it was buffering. Can you hear me now? Is that okay? Are we back? Okay. So yeah, what I say is emotional manipulation is one of the main trauma points that are in effect during this dynamic at the minute, and that's what's causing some of the power struggle that you guys are struggling with at the minute. Let's dive into it, guys. Oh, damn, there's a whole like, okay, there's cards. There's cards for you. I speak my truth. Okay, so the guys want to speak some truth as well. they're gonna break it down. Don't worry. Okay, let me break it down because this is the thing as well. You have to understand. Emotional manipulation can be something as simple as how can I put it? Do you finding yourself in situations where you're saying yes when you really mean no? Finding yourself in situations where you're saying no when you really mean yes. There's emotional manipulation that's taking place. It's being applied as pressure to say something that goes out of alignment to what you really feel at the core of yourself. So that's how spirit will interpret emotional manipulation. So there may be times where in the dynamic, you guys may be saying yes. This may not even necessarily be within your relationship space. How I'm seeing it as well is that there may be situations where sometimes you guys say yes to certain things outside of the relationship dynamic that then leads back into the relationship, whereby it has an impact and an effect on you guys's relationship dynamic, and being able to formulate some effective boundaries in that space. But we can go unpack it. We gotta unpack it. Don't worry. So looking at the cards, let me just sit with it and take in what they're sort of conveying. Okay. Mm. So what they're actually sort of showing me with the dynamics and the situation, right? Who's kind of, I don't know that, have you guys passed away or whatever? Okay. So that may be something that you have to be mindful of as you guys are navigating through the dynamics with the situation. Because sometimes when we deal with, yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. When we have past trauma from certain things, it's good that you're not seeing those types of red flags just yet, be mindful that you may also, how can I put it? You may also still have some psychological trauma from that type of dynamic, because emotional manipulation is different. It's one of those types of illnesses where it's not a physical cut, so people can't necessarily say, oh, this is where it's at, this is what needs to be, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that may be the thing that you are coming into this being careful with. It. Good stuff is going to be important, because I think with the dynamics that you're kind of navigating through. So, okay, let me bring it all in. Let me bring it all in to put it across you, because I think that that's something that you're going to be growing from your old patterns in this dynamic when it comes to that situation, right? What I'm seeing is that there's definitely a situation for you guys to be able to oh, it feels a little bit yeah, it feels a little bit, somebody isn't all the way happy with the union. Hi Julian, I'm so sorry, my love. The list is finished for tonight. I was supposed to finish like half an hour ago. But we've got like 4 people left, so the list is closed for tonight. But tune in next Friday at 9:30. My question to you there, I speak my truth, was, if I can remember, bring me back, guys, into the channel. Thank you, Kayla. Awesome. Thank you. You're so awesome. Okay, so yeah, I was asking, it seems like you guys are navigating through a little bit of I want to say a lack of support. Yes, there you go. Yes, thank you. Thank you for holding the channel anchored. Do you know who it is? Because I guess I want to be able to like get a sense of the picture. If I know what parts each characters are playing, I can get a little bit better of an understanding of the interpretation. Okay. That's what. Okay, that I was going to say. Somebody seems to be withdrawn as well. So okay, that makes sense if that's yourself. See, well, he hurt me in the past 7 years ago, and we reconnected a few months ago, and we've been talking since. But I want to give him a chance. You have to let go of the hurt, my love. You have to let go of the hurt. I do see it manifesting. So this is what the future holds for you guys, right? This is what the future holds for you guys. And I don't know, you probably don't read tarot, so you probably don't even know what this means. But we've got the Ten of Swords and the Magician. So you guys will overcome like the past betrayal and the defeat and the ending that you guys kind of had previously. But in order, because he's confusing. Okay. Yeah. You guys will be able to kind of like overcome the situation that's occurring now as far as like the withdrawn dynamic. I think it's just more so a situation where both of you guys have a lot to process still. I think after you guys kind of like left in those 7 years, I don't know that you guys actually I'm not going to say that you guys didn't process. I think that there was still a lot of residual hurt. There was still a lot of pain that has caused some trust issues. So on both parts, I think that the dynamic that he played in the role in the past and the dynamic that you play is causing. I don't think both of you guys don't trust yourselves to make that decision at this point. You guys don't trust yourselves to make that decision at this point, because I think where you guys did it before, and it kind of blew up the way that it did. Potentially, it's a case of right counterpart, wrong timing at that time. And you guys are getting an opportunity to kind of like redo things in a way where it seems like it actually has a more probable likelihood of standing a chance. Clarify to me, please. Okay. 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 Yeah, I think he's more mature now, and yeah, you know, be careful, because what happens with this type of dynamic is that so at the time when you guys kind of like experienced each other years ago, he was a complete douchebag, and now he's not like that anymore. Yeah, because you have to understand, he actually poured out a lot of that into others, i.e. yourself, along the way. So that's his process of refining himself over the years. And now that he's actually done that, you have to be aware that that's actually had subverse effects on yourself as well. So I think for the most part, you guys, you know, the fact that you guys are both self-sufficient at the minute, I don't think it's like marriage and kids, like, you know, next month or anything like that. I think that this is going to be a slow burner. I think that it's going to be a slow moving type of situation. And I think that you guys are going to both eventually make the decision to recommit to each other. But I think that fear is going to be significant in standing, not necessarily in the way, but being placed in the way, as a way to be able to protect ourselves. So we have to understand if this shows up, it's a protective sort of coding. So we have to understand, sorry, I'm like, what what I'm seeing with the situation, there's been a lot of like neurological shifts that's occurred with the dynamics that you guys have kind of taken place in the last few years, where you guys were separated, which is great. But what it means is that you guys are actually now two completely different people coming to the table, and you guys have to get to know these people in order to understand how to be able to integrate into each other's lives, in order to understand how you can merge, if you should so decide to do so. Damn, y'all, you and your parables. Anyways, if you guys obviously, I think that it's highly probable that you guys will sort of like make the decision to sort of come back into alignment with each other. Like I said, it's going to be a slow moving process, but yeah, there's still some stuff that's like basically being healed even now, like you guys being able to come back in the dynamic. Obviously, like karma is playing out. So you both have to be mindful to not perpetuate any of the cycles of the previous dynamic. You guys will probably still see similar patterns show up, as far as like if you guys kind of like had like runner chaser dynamic to begin with in the old relationship, you might find that that's something that you guys are dealing with now, because those feelings haven't necessarily been processed. So it's just a case of like seeing something, saying something, and actually addressing it, and that will actually speed up the process for both of you guys. And if one person, i.e. yourself, because it's probably going to have to be yourself to do some of that conscious work, whilst he's also consciously navigating on himself. Okay. Career chaser in the past. Okay. You guys were sort of like running just in different directions. Okay. That dynamic, obviously, that's something that you guys are still sort of like navigating through at the minute. Somebody has to kind of like break through that fear and just make the decision to commit despite whatever consequences comes from that commitment. Do you think he is emotionally manipulating me? Is that what you meant? Because I don't see it and I'm a trauma survivor. So I'm highly aware and see no signs. I don't. So what's taking place here is that, and I want to put this across, I think that you guys are both emotionally manipulating yourselves. I think this, so I automatically did this. They're showing me like there's this need to protect oneself. So I think that you guys, like the heart is doing this, right? The heart is kind of like pulling and calling and drawing back into the connection of that tide, but both of you guys are kind of like this because there was so much trauma from like the past situation. And I think that that dynamic is forcing both of you guys to actually find yourselves in manipulative situations with each other. Because although you guys perhaps want it and want to make a good go, it just requires you, like somebody, and let that somebody be you. I speak my truth. Just has to be willing to kind of shift the dynamic by accepting, do you know what? I want this person. I'm going to actually allow for my heart to be open to manifesting and cultivating a timeline where I can have that experience and be able to bask in it. Once that shift happens in the heart space, that will start to speed it up. Doesn't mean it's going to be a quick turnaround because, like I said, the runner chaser dynamic seems to be like very deeply embedded into the construct of how you guys engage with each other. But it's a case of seeing how it metamorphosizes itself, because that's what happens. Like when we move on from it, when we heal it, it levels up with us as well, right? Like new levels, new devils, basically, right? So as you've healed like certain things, you'll find that you'll find that you were also broken in other places as well as you heal other things. But yeah, I think if you guys if you take the opportunity to kind of like open your heart, visualize your heart being able to be open to the process, visualize your heart being able to move of the heart. Visualize your heart being able to move past the trust issues. Visualize your heart being able to accept that this is a possibility, and visualize being able to accept that you may be hurt. And just like you survived before, you can do it again. If that's what it comes down to. If you accept all that, you actually open a path where hurt isn't the main objective, because right now you'd be manifesting that alignment, the alignment of that relationship based on the fear of, I don't want him to hurt me again. You're basically casting him in that role. You're setting that scene. You're giving him that script. He's already played that role. He's grown. You said you've seen the growth yourself. Give him an opportunity to show up as somebody else. Rewrite the script of the past that he left in here. And then that will allow for certain other realities to start to ground and manifest. Like I said, it's not going to be a quick one. And they always have to keep like assuring me with that one. Because there's still like a lot of little stuff, a lot of little obstacles that still needs to be worked through, because you guys still have some karmic outpour from the previous relationship that has to play out. But if you do all of what I said, it will allow for the opening to take place. Okay, because trust me, God wants what we want for ourselves. But most importantly, he wants us to do it in the very best way and in the most healthiest way possible. Okay, that part. I hope that was useful for you. I speak my truth. Go out there and continue to speak your truth, okay? We ain't mad at you. Go out and continue to speak your truth. Right. So, who have we got next on the list? Let's see. So good. Thank you. Hi, Nikki. Thank you for stopping into the space, my love. Like Kayla said, the list is closed. Unfortunately, we've been here for a good couple of hours. I'm sure God's going to give me a nice rest as compensation for going over tonight. Who have we got next on the list? We've got Cheryl. Cheryl. If you're still in the room, get your question again, and I will hydrate in the meantime, in between time. I'm like Eliza Doolittle, guys. I don't know if you guys like saw that little spider. He's doing his own thing. Literally, they're like all over the place. They just do their own thing because they know I don't kill. I'm not a murderer. Okay. I can hold it on my heart. Okay. I think about my next life. So they just reign freely, showing me up. Guys, don't do this. We've got company. God. Right, Cheryl. Can you get your question if you're still in the room? Put it out in the chat, and then we're gonna go and unpack it. And then we've got 3 more beautiful left, and that's it. Kayla, thank you so much. You have been on job tonight. Thank you for just being a diamond. You've been a gem. Are you laughing at my little housemate, right? A little housemate. God. Okay. Right. So tune in next week, Nikki. Tune in next week. But bear in mind the fact that you have to ask that question in the first place means your intuition is telling you something. We'll unpack it if you tune in next week around about 9. Okay. Cheryl, thank you for your question, beautiful. Let's dive into it. Sorry, I'm not trying to understand the question again. This is my mind is trying to compute. I'm assuming the question is how does Gerald feel about me, right? I'm assuming that's the question. Okay. Cheryl wants to know how Gerald feels about her. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So from what I'm seeing with the dynamics of this situation thus far, right? Okay. Yeah. Clarify to me. What? Okay. So for the most part, right, I think that you guys have a lot of there's definitely some misaligned values, right? I don't know what the dynamics is with you and Gerald. But I'm seeing that there's definitely some values that aren't necessarily all the way aligned. However, he's curious towards certain things that may be sort of like differences that you guys kind of share. He's kind of going through this rite of passage at the minute. Oh, okay. I want to say both of you guys are going through your own sort of rite of passage at the minute where you're a little bit in hermit mode. You're not communicating with each other as much as you would like to. So, like, you're thinking of each other, you're having conversations with each other telepathically, but actually making those physical steps to make those like physical communications and connections, that's not as frequent as it is as far as like you know, contacting each other on the telepath cell, where it's like, oh, I'm thinking of you, putting out all these thoughts out there. Oh, has somebody decided to move on? Has somebody decided to move on? Let me know. Answer that question for me, Cheryl, because I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the situation. What they're showing me about no communication, but I feel connected to him. Yeah. Yeah, because what they're showing me about the situation, this hermit mode stuff. That's because he's talking to you telepathically. Okay, Cheryl, this is the thing. Like, and this is what I was saying earlier. You're like, oh, but I feel connected to him. Yeah, because like there's telepathic communication that's taking place. There's not physical communication that's taking place, but there's like a lot of thoughts that's like, oh, like you might come to his mind and then he starts to like roll off on a tangent, and vice versa for you as well. He might come to your mind and then you roll off on a tangent with a whole different sort of like story and dynamic that is different to what you guys are experiencing now. So you guys are definitely communicating on that level. The physical world, not so much clearly. But what I'm seeing with the situation as far as you know, clarifying a little bit of the hermit mode dynamic. Bear with me, I'm consulting the guides. Okay. I can see that as far as like for him being in his little hermit mode, it's an opportunity to kind of plan on the financial setbacks for the organization, like navigating through in some finances as well. He's energy. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Beautiful. You guys are communicating more so on the telepath cell as opposed to the actual telecell. Like steadily, he's having communication with you, and that then like activates your cells because you're picking up on that information in the collective subconsciously, right? So you're feeling that and sensing that, you're attuned to that because you know you guys are having that engagement and interaction. I think that I don't necessarily think that he is really making future plans on the situation just yet. I think that he's kind of focusing on how he's progressing at the minute, working through his career or putting his focus on his career. He's kind of like working on getting to a better position financially, and that's kind of like his main focus. That's where he's kind of like shifting his focus and his energy at the minute. That's how he's utilizing his hermit mode. Yeah, there's definitely some blocked emotions. I think that there are blocked emotions there. I don't think that he allows for himself to really feel anything. I don't know. I think that, oh, okay. Sorry. Let me just see what this is saying here. Okay, so what I'm seeing with the dynamic is that I don't know that, I don't know if it's you or him that is still, I don't want to say healing, but still more lost of a significant relationship from the past. Um, I think that there's an admiration there for you. I think that there's an attraction there. I think the like is growing. Um, I don't know that he has the emotional capacity for the liking just yet. And there's a fear around even being able to do that just yet because the focus is on trying to get to a certain place in terms of being able to maintain financial stability and a sort of structured environment financially where that situation's all the way together. So it's not that he doesn't like you, it's that he's not there just yet in terms of letting himself being okay with the thought of liking you, because it's like, okay, I don't think he's ready to act on that, even if he does. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's not necessarily allowing for himself to fully feel all of what he feels for you. But I think if I was to be honest, I would say yes, like deep down, he likes you. I think he can be a little bit shy about it as well. Like I said, this one of you guys in this dynamic is dealing with some hurt from a past relationship, um, which is kind of impacting how things are manifesting for you guys now. That's a part of the stuff that's like manifesting some of these delays. So check in yourself, check in with him, see where you guys are both at in terms of past relationship dynamics, because that may have something to do with what's causing the delays, and it may be more of a subconscious thing. Again, the effects of some of the trauma that we experience being in toxic relationships. And even if it's not a toxic relationship, sometimes you have toxic behaviors sporadically that may show up, even if the entire relationship in itself isn't necessarily toxic. So what I'd say to you is he might like you, but I don't think he trusts himself to be able to let the light grow just yet, for good reason. So don't push that, don't force that. Don't necessarily put him in a position where he needs to move faster than his pace, because you'll just be disappointed. That's just the reality, if I'm completely honest with you. But yeah, he could grow into a deeper like for you. Right now, at the minute, it's a surface like, because he's not allowing himself to really indulge in it as much, because of other fears. Now, I get the sense the fear that I'm sensing is from his part, where old relationship traumas may still be affecting the way that he shows up, by not being able to communicate as effectively, or not being able to be present. There may be some hurt that's causing for him not to be able to like fully be present in these dynamics. But yeah, that's it. That's it, really. Never giving me anything else for the situation, but you guys do have somewhat of a strong connection. You guys clearly have a telepathic connection there. So for now, that's kind of all that you guys need to be working at. I guess that's the only level that you guys need to be working at. Future planning and progression. He's not necessarily there for you because he's focusing on other things. Will he get around to it? To be continued. That's what they're telling me. To be continued, because he still has a lot of growing that he has to do in himself as well. Vice versa with yourself as well. Your growth process is going to come through practicing patience. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting dynamic for both of you guys. I hope that was useful. It's going to be a nice truce, I guess. There's some blocked emotions at the minute that's going to kind of like surface and bring you guys to a place where there's like a really nice truce, where you guys are clear in terms of where you guys stand with each other. Because right now there feels like there's a lot that's on the heart that isn't necessarily like fully expressed. So yeah. There's this, the hermit mode going to end eventually. Hermit mode is going to end eventually. It's a case of weeks on this situation, maybe 6 to 7 weeks, potentially. There's still some stuff that's being worked out psychologically and emotionally. Okay. I hope that was useful for you, Cheryl. I hope that was useful. So we've got Jenny, the prettiest girl, and Rose. Okay, Jenny. Yeah, she's awesome. She is awesome. I appreciate her so much. Jenny, what is that? Please can I get your question in the chat? Let's dive into it. Let's unpack it and see what spirit kind of needs for you to know at the minute. And, I'll do my best to kind of bring anything that I can up to the surface for you. If you're in the room and you're still needing some time to kind of like type your question, just type in, let it be known you're still here. Because you know the time is going to start ticking. Time is going to start ticking as it does. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes whilst I hydrate and prep. Okay. Jenny, you've got a couple of minutes to be able to sort of like come back with your question. Yeah, thank you, Kayla. Kayla is bomb.com, man. Prettiest girl, if you are here and in the room, then definitely start getting your spirit fingers together, okay? So you can start typing your question because by 23 past, I'm going to move on to prettiest girl. Okay, if Jenny isn't throwing her question out there by 23 past, we're moving on to prettiest girl. I'm looking to sort of like do this, do a lot of like different changes, guys. So hopefully like all of these little changes that are coming, you know, I missed you guys while I was in my downtime. Sorry, I'm giving Jenny some time. Okay, Jenny, I'm biding you time to get your question in the chat if you're still in the room. But yeah, I really did miss this space. It's just that there were so many other things that God had me focusing on, and I needed to do those things. I'm going to be letting you guys know when the app stuff. Get over to the website as well, guys. Thank you, Rose, confirming that you're still here. That's how you do it, y'all. Get over to the website as well. It's www.consciouslyconnected.com. I think it's even connected on the YouTube channel as well. So if you go to the main page, you guys will be able to find the details there and sign up to the website, become a member. If you do that, it's basically just when the time comes, when the app is ready, I'll be giving out a lot of free content on there. I'll be doing a lot of this stuff. I'm taking over onto that space because then it would be like solely just, I don't know if you guys saw, like there was someone who came in and spewed out some stuff earlier. I think it was Victoria or something like that. You know, just creating a space solely for us. Like we ain't no time for trolls, okay? YouTube's cool, but too many trolls in these streets. And some of these trolls are professional trolls, like I learned last time, okay? It's apparently a profession for some of these people. So I'm working on that. If you guys want to sort of, you know, be part of the community, definitely go over there. I'm not doing as much on there just yet, but it's going to grow. Okay, that's kind of like why I'm coming back to let you guys know that's what we've got prepping for you guys, you know, to be able to kind of like, I mean, they've got Instagram and people can do whatever they want to do on there. Why not have like an actual conscious social media? Okay, so we're working on that. So seeing as we didn't get anything from Jenny, we're moving on to prettiest girl. You now have 3 minutes to kind of enter your details in the chat. Oh, and Rose. Rose as well. Yeah. Prettiest girl, enter your question. Yeah, Rose, because I don't know that prettiest girl's still here. She's probably left the room as well. We'll close out the space with Rose because I'm not sure. Thank you, Rose. That's how you do it. See? Snap. Um, with him or oh, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Sorry, beautiful. I don't even know if I properly like close out the channel from your space, but thank you for just sharing your space and sharing, you know, your subconscious realm with me. It was nice to tune into your world. I appreciate you. Rose, okay. Let's get the romance cards out first and we'll start there and clarify it. We'll clarify it with tarot and see. Yeah, and see what we can do with the situation. Um, let's see. Rose and Abbas, what do you see? Oh, that's nice. Okay, show me. What do you? Okay. 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 And then what? Okay. And is that it? Okay. Okay. Oh. Sorry, I'm like getting the whole script and scene and story. Like I want all of it first. Please clarify this right here for me. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. That's cute. We like that. Okay. Okay. And what's the actual reality of it? Okay. 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 Rose, you are the final person closing out the space for tonight's reading, and I'm getting so many cards, I'm like running out of space. It's a whole story out here. There's a whole script that is being written up there just for you, especially for you. Okay, so let's see. Right. What do we have with the situation here, right? Oh, come on. Okay. So what I'm seeing with the dynamic, right? Let me just kind of there's a reason. It's all good. I want to like really, because the situation, I can tell that there's like a lot to the situation. It's hella complicated. So I want to be able to like really dissect it, pull it apart, break it down. So what we've got with this situation, right? You guys are going to get back together. You guys are going to sort of like have a little bit of a honeymoon period. And if you guys, so give me the words, guys. Give me the words so that I can relate how you guys are giving it to me. Okay, so you guys will be able to kind of like have this little separation that you guys are kind of like navigating through. Because it seems like you guys are kind of together, but not really, but kind of, but not really. That's going to kind of like come to an abrupt end. It seems like an abrupt end. I want to say it's a 5 months type situation that you guys are navigating through with that type of dynamic. But it doesn't necessarily mean, and I want to put this across, you guys are going to go back into a honeymoon situation. So you guys get to like, love up on each other and appreciate each other and all of the nice things that you love about each other. You get to be able to experience that within the first few weeks, because I don't see it sort of like lasting months per se if you guys aren't careful. So no, we're finished. Unfortunately, the list is closed, my love. Tune in next Friday, 9:30. Be the first in the room and snap. Maybe you might just get first on the list, okay? But come and check us out this Friday. Yeah, so with the situation, you guys have to be careful not to let the days of the honeymoon situation convince you guys that you're cool and the same issues that you guys have had, those same issues still needs to be worked out. Definitely getting to know each other again, 100%. I think it's a case of you guys also understanding that some of the ways that you clashed before, those things still exist. So it's important for both of you guys to optimize your avatars. So you need to dial back, whatever attitude was causing friction, and he needs to dial back whatever behavior was causing some contention for you. So these are some of the things that you guys are still working at. I want to say are still working at, because I see when the honeymoon situation happens. Yeah, that's precisely. And those issues you're saying, like those issues, those barriers of communication, sometimes you guys struggle to really be able to receive each other in terms of what the other is saying. Sometimes it could get really challenging for either of you guys to be heard in I think he struggled with articulating sometimes, and sometimes you struggled with patience for him to be able to kind of like make it make sense, like because he struggles with being able to like really articulate himself. With the issue, I guess, in the past before. Definitely work at these things. The thing that needs to happen, thank you for validating and confirming that, beautiful. The thing that needs to happen for you guys with the situation, like if you want it, it can happen, right? The universe is like showing me like there's an opportunity for you to actually like be so prosperous in this, but you guys have to consider the old relationship as a mock. Do you see what I'm saying? So here in the UK, like you do the mock exam and then do the actual exam. Consider that as the mock exam. That relationship dynamic basically taught you guys about everything that you don't want to do in the relationship moving forward. Like utilize that. Strategize with that. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the reality of the situation is you guys actually have a cheat code of how to make it work based on how it didn't work before. And that's how the universe kind of wants to give you an opportunity to play with this dynamic and situation. You see what I'm saying? So what you need to do is really like look at some of the things that he complained about. Okay, some of the things that he complained about before. He will still be likely to have some of those complaints because you've dialed some of it down. but and however, there's still certain aspects that you're still working on, much like for him as well. There's still things that you would try and vocalize before, but he wasn't able to receive it because he wasn't really receiving, the constructive feedback as, self-analysis. He was kind of taking it as criticism. and also it was probably the way that you were delivering it as well, my love. A little trick whenever you're going to critique. Sorry, I saw that. Yeah, a little trick whenever you're going to critique. Pay a compliment first before you go into criticism. It allows for the human to be able to bring the armor down. They're not so defensive. They're a little bit more receptive. They can receive what you have to say, and they aren't necessarily kind of like giving you that energy where it's all the way bravado. So they can actually start to receive and listen to what it is. I can be blunt, but I don't mean to. Well, this is something that you've got to work on. You have to work on, because there's nothing wrong with being honest, right? But delivery is everything. And you have to understand that when we communicate certain things, because it may not be a pain point for ourselves, we may not be sensitive to those words, or we may not be sensitive to that truth, but that doesn't mean that the other person isn't sensitive to that. And even if they may not be saying that they're not sensitive to it, you can see by their body language, you can see by the way that they've shut down, that it's a sore spot for them. So you have to sometimes like protect your own partner from some of your own flaws and shortcomings. You see what I'm saying? And these are some of the dynamics that you guys are going back into now as you guys, need to work 100%. 100%. So these are some of the stuff that you guys will get an opportunity to work through. Is there children on the card? Provided that you guys can do this work, yes, because if you guys don't do the work, I'm sorry, you guys won't even be able to stand each other long enough to even like let the passion take y'all over. Okay, I'll put it that way. But I see that it's definitely highly probable. There's just some work that needs to be done to make it more possible, because probability is when there is still some variables that are still to be determined. I do think that there's other children, because I want to say at least two more that are there. Yeah, it is 50-50. I think both of you guys came to the relationship before with your own issues. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think both of you guys were trying to vocalize things then that neither of you guys even had the language to be able to articulate to each other then, because you guys were just reacting constantly all the time, which is why you guys were butting heads. But now you guys are at a place where you're, wise enough. You guys are older. You guys are able to kind of like have that dynamic where you guys actually know each other, as in another children to come. Yeah, no, two more to come, probable that there's two more to come. I'm only 15. Sorry, we're closed as far as the list for the night. We're finishing up Rose's reading and then we're off for the night. But tune in next Friday, 9:30. I've been here for a good almost 3 hours now, as you can see. So I'm going to be sort of signing out. I was only supposed to be here for an hour and a half, but I did double time today. So tune in next Friday if you want to be able to kind of like get a question answered, if the guides haven't provided you with clarity by then. Okay, thought you meant he had two more. I was going, no. I think that you guys have the probability of being able to kind of bring a couple of others down. But they require you guys to be at a certain place. It's very important. It's very important. They require you guys to be at the place that you guys always wanted to be in the first place. I think, unfortunately, a lot of the things that you guys have experienced has kind of like shaped you guys in ways that you guys didn't actually even realize for the most part. But whenever you feel like you're itching to say something, because they're taking me back to like that sharp tongue, that blunt tongue, whenever you're tempted to say something, take a minute, breathe, and like connect to your higher self to be able to deliver that truth. Connect to love to be able to deliver that truth, because sometimes we're actually like communicating truth and we're actually communicating it from a place of bashing. Unfortunately, we think it's love, but it's really bashing. So really connect to the vibration of love. When you want to communicate certain home truths, and it will actually help for him to be able to really receive the love that you're actually intending to give him by being honest, because your act of honesty is actually a part of your love language. It's something that you value very much in terms of relationship dynamics. It's just that you might like it that raw, but it doesn't mean that everybody else does. Do you see what I'm saying? So you just need to pretty it up a little bit, make it nice a little bit for other people to be able to consume it. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. That is it, guys. Oh my days. Oh my diddy. You guys had me out here for like a good couple of hours, a good 3 hours, actually, a few hours actually. That was a lot. Thank you, beautiful. Honestly, the guides, they talk to me anyways, so I might as well come in here and share with you guys what they're sharing with me. Tune into your space and see what your guys need you guys to know. Thank you again to Glory, who actually stopped in to me personally today, and I know I've been feeling the calling in the collective. I've been sensing that you guys wanted me back on live. But I've been so busy with the chaos of my own life, unfortunately, that it was a struggle. But God has aligned for us to kind of reconvene. Guys. That's what's up. I love that for us. Our little Friday nights are about to get back on and popping. We love that. Thank you, Kayla, for being so awesome as well. You're an amazing moderator. I'm going to figure out how to actually like do that as a thing. Okay. For another time, if you're ever available for next Friday, definitely tune in and help out where you can. It would be awesome to sort of have you. It was super great tonight. And thank you guys. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, everybody who really just allowed for me to be able to sort of check into their space. I appreciate you guys sharing your space with me, because it's not easy to sort of, I know you guys want to be able to sort of like get a little reading, and if you can get it for free, that's even better. Do you know what I mean? But being able to kind of like come and like really bear yourselves like on live, it takes some courage. So thank you guys for sharing your space with me. I appreciate you guys so much for that. And on that note, also, folks, I'm gonna love you guys and leave it there, guys. You guys were bomb.com. This was a nice re-entry into sort of coming back into the space. So thank you guys for welcoming me. Snap. You know, sometimes it's like those relationships, right, where you feel like you go for a minute and then you're trying to nothing happened after you ghosted. So I'm like coming back after the ghosting, and thank you guys for accepting and appreciating. On that note, I'm gonna love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I'll catch you guys next week. Okay. Thank you, Rose. All good. You guys are all beautiful souls, man. Alignment. I appreciate you guys so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Enjoy your Friday night. Technically Saturday for me, so I'm going to be heading off. Cowdy, we have wrapped up for the night. Unfortunately, tune in next week and we'll see what we can do. 9:30 on Friday. Hit the notification bell. That way you can be notified for when we do go live, and then you can come in here, jump in on the list ASAP, and then, wait for your good message from the guides, okay? I love y'all. Peace. Enjoy.